guys, Andy here. Now, ask almost any biker and they'll tell you one of their big concerns is their bike being nicked. You know, let's face it, you can lift one of these up and stick them in a van in a matter of seconds. So really, you're looking for anything that's going to put people off bothering, really. And Datatag is one of those options. It effectively is kind of like the smart water that I've done a video about before. It's sort of, you sound a bit weird, but you're splashing DNA all over your bike. So that should it get nicked, it doesn't really stop it being nicked, but should it get nicked, it's a lot easier for the police or anyone else to track it back to you, basically. This pack cost me, I think it was about £70. There have been various different iterations of Datatag. They do it for other sort of vehicles and things, as you can see there. And this is their newest and most recent version that I'm aware of. There are some instructions that actually are worthwhile just kind of reading what they say, how you're supposed to do things, where they're supposed to put them. In the pack we have, this is my kind of registration document, you can see them. We're going to go through each of these bits as I'll show you them being applied to the bike, but if you want to just kind of double check what's in your pack, if it matches what was in mine, then this might be useful to you. That's the actual sort of DNA liquid. Even the sticker, actually, to be honest, I wonder if you can just buy the sticker, because if someone thinks you data tagged, that might be enough, or as much of a deterrent as if you actually are data tagged. So those are the little transponders. One's a couple of button size ones and a couple of rice size ones. I won't really show you much about where they've been put, because I don't give too much information about how I'm tagging up my bike. But each one of those should be read by a scanner that, in theory, the police should have. Although I did read a story about how it took someone about 2 months to find a policeman that had a scanner that would read the transponders. So first things first, give the bike a bit of a clean, because we are going to be sticking things and, well, painting things on almost. So clean it up, kind of dry it off a little bit. Now this is the first grain of rice size, and they say put one of them in your seat. Now I'd lost the little poking device, so I was using something else. And they say put the other in what part of the wiring, basically. When you'll get the instructions, you'll understand what I mean. These are the button size ones. Now one of them, it says put to a coat with the glue and kind of dropping inside the wheel. I didn't have big enough gaps, so I stuck them on the different parts of the frame, neither particularly obvious. Then we've got the sort of UV painting. So I don't think this has got DNA, and I think it is literally just UV, leaving a UV stencil on your bike. Here's the actual liquid that we saw earlier. I'm gonna just kind of swab it over. So I think you get 8 of the stencils. You stick them on various different parts of the bike, you know, on the frame, on the tank, on the wheels, wherever, you know, just so that there's they're enough all over the place. Now you can kind of faintly see that at the moment. They do say you will sometimes be able to see it, just wait a few weeks and it will fade, and I will show you. I did this a few weeks ago. Now I did the 8 stencils and it looks like there's plenty left, so maybe I should have been a bit more generous when I was swabbing it on. So now we're moving on to the sort of forensic DNA invisible solution with data dots. So there's hundreds of data dots in the liquid. You will see them as little black specks, which apparently they can read stuff off with a microscope. The liquid itself is kind of a gluey solvent, but it also has the DNA in it. Be warned, it is a visible, so you can see it's quite a clear white dot. It dries a little more subtle than that, but it is still visible. So try and paste it into lesser noticeable areas. And then finally, we're going to stick the actual Datatag sticker to a fairly prominent place on the bike, because you want people to know, or you want thieves to know, that it is Datatagged. Not really because they might spend an hour or so trying to clean all DNA and find the transponder. I'll tell you now, the grain of rice size transponders are going to almost be impossible to find, unless I guess they've got the tool that can sort of beeps when it's near it or something. Even then, I think, to be honest, it'll be very hard to find. So this is the next stage. Just give it a bit of a rub on the frame. You almost think, oh, has it all gone? Now, unfortunately, I've not actually got like a UV light. That'd have been ideal. If I had a UV light, I could kind of shine it on it and we'd see, hopefully, it's showing up. But as I get closer, you can see it's almost like it's a tattoo sort of. Now that one looks a bit more like dirt. I don't know exactly what it is, but Again, clean off the bits that look like dirt. And again, you think, oh, have I rubbed it all away? Is that no use now? But I think when you get really close and you get a certain angle, you can see it. So this is where I realised that the liquid didn't particularly dry to a invisible type state. And you can see there's 2 dots at the end of that as well. Those are the tiny little dots apparently you can read information off. And even then, there is still a couple of bits of DNA look on the bike. So if someone's trying to remove it all, it's going to be quite hard to make sure every bit of DNA comes off it, I think. So then we're going to skip ahead 3 weeks. Now this is the most obvious and prominent and very visible. And this is 3 weeks later, so clearly it's not faded at this point. But I'm going to give it a bit of a wipe over with it's kind of a wet wipe type product in a second. That one on the frame, that's fine. There's no way you're going to notice that unless I think you're shining a UV lamp on it. So let's just give that a bit of a clean, basically, in that area, and see how it looks after. My dirty bike at this point. And dry it off, and it almost looks like it's kind of UV coloured at this point. Can you see that? I mean, it's very faint. I'm going to zoom in so we can get a better look. But you see, I can see that even though I've sort of wiped it and cleaned it, it's kind of stained almost the engine with the details. So there you go, Datatag. As I say, you just want to do anything you can to try and put would-be thieves off from taking your bike. And for it's either £70 or £80, I'll leave a link in the description below. I think surely it's worth doing, isn't it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon. You made it all the way to the end. Well done. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do subscribe by clicking the little fella over on this side of the screen. You might also want to check out the other videos. Should be just there. Check out my website as well, androidandy.uk, made by me. I'm learning HTML and PHP, so hopefully it's functional. But I'll see you again in the next video.